Hello and welcome. Today we're going to go ahead and take a look at my next cruiser class ship, the Star Adder. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know that cruisers are Class B ships that are designed for extended deployments. So we've got plenty of firepower, but we were willing to sacrifice some mobility in exchange for more cargo capacity and more crew space. Now, the Star Adder um, does require us to have the better parts flips and snaps. Those are two separate mods, and I'm making use of the place doors yourself mod. Otherwise, it would be messy in here. So you will need all of those installed to be able to build this ship. Um, for this particular ship, I was messing around with various things and wasn't too happy. So I went back to my old Providence ship build and decided to juice that up some and turn it into a proper warship. This ended up being the result, and I was fairly happy with it. So let's go ahead, hop on down here. Nice covered entrance, and we'll take a tour. So, as usual with my builds, I do like to enter immediately into the armory, figuring that anybody entering and exiting the ship needs to make sure that they are armed or that they put their arms up. And we have the docking access right here, so anything that you need is right here by the entrance. Continuing on, we are entering into the Cabot Bridge with its stairs. And then after going up through the cockpit, back here we have the Nova Galactic 3x2 mess hall. Again, this is one of my favorite habs. Just seems to be a nice, needed area for the crew to get together and eat, but also an area for the crew to relax in. Off to the side over here, I decided to go ahead and stick the Nova Galactic 3x1 engineering bay. You could very easily go ahead and stick a different engineering bay in here, but I did it more for the exterior aesthetic first. Coming back from the mess hall, then we find ourselves in the Nova Galactic 2x1 control station. So this is going to add 4 more crew capacity to your ship, and I like this control station a lot because it has more room to be able to maneuver around anybody who happens to be on your crew. That would also be a good reason to consider moving this ladder from here to here, if you so desire. Continuing on back, we've got one more door back here, and back here we have the Damos 2x1 computer core. Then, if we come through this door over here, we find ourselves in the Nova Galactic Infirmary. And then on this side, we have the Nova Galactic 3x1, 2x1, all-in-one B. So this is giving us 3 beds and a bathroom, but this one does not have a galley in it. Note, if you wanted one more bed, replace this with, well, any other all-in-one. Moving back on over to the sole ladder in the ship, we can pop on up it, and we find ourselves in the, this should be the Shroud 3x1 all-in-one. Then we can come on over here, and we have my favorite captain's quarters, the Tayo. So all in all, we have 8 beds on this ship, and about 8 crew capacity. Oh, enough with the interior tour. Let's go ahead and take a look at how the ship is built, and then we'll take it out for a test drive. Okay, and you can go ahead and take a look at the stats here. Got almost 6,000 cargo capacity with the payload skill maxed. And we are, of course, using the best Class B reactor we can. All right, enough looking at it. Let's go ahead and hop on in. Step one is going to be going ahead and grabbing those colors. I went for kind of a muted green, a similarly muted teal, and then a somewhat muted red. And that brought us to this. All right, now let's go ahead, select all, and delete. All right, so how are we going to build this ship? Well, step one is we're going to pop on over here, and we are going to grab our landing bay. Then we are going to go on over to the habs, and here I use the shroud armory. However, you could also use the Damos armory, and it will basically be the same. Moving forward from here, we are going to go ahead and grab that cockpit, and that is going to be that Cabot C4 bridge. While we're here, let's just dart on down here and grab that docker. And then up here, we're going to come back on over to our habs, and we are going to go ahead and select that Nova Galactic 3x2 mess hall. We want it set so that way it is on the starboard side of the ship, because if we were to have it here, it would eliminate the bathroom that is in this corner. And then from here on out, we do need to actually go ahead and add in our doors. So I'm going to start by coming on up here and place a door right here. And then I'm going to grab that engineering bay. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place a door right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab that control station. From here, I'm going to go ahead and add most of the rest of my doors. Do note here that you can go ahead and change from my door to a passway, or I'm not entirely sure what a Jalusi is, but I just defaulted to door. And here, I've got a ladder. You can also just have a hole, or you can change this around for different lengths of ladders. Sometimes it'll make sense to go ahead and do like a 3 times ladder rather than just the normal 2x ladder, and then do a hole above it. And this would be more for if the system is giving you issues. This is the best way to put it. All right. Next up, on top of this, I'm going to come on down to that Shroud 3x1 all-in-one. I'm going to place that right there. Then, on the front of that, I'm going to go ahead and grab another door. And then I'm going to come on down to the tile, and I'm going to grab the top of B, Captain's Quarters. Down here, I'm going to grab the Damos computer core. On this side here, the port side, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Nova Galactic all-in-one B. And on this side here, I'm going to go ahead and grab that Nova Galactic Infirmary and pull that back. Alright, and that is all the habitable portions of this ship. Alright, so what's next? Let's go ahead and grab our reactor and grav drive. So for our reactor, I am using that 104DS. This is providing 39 power, which is the most you can get from a Class B reactor. On this side, I'm going to go ahead and grab my grav drive, and here I just grabbed the RD3000, but we can go back in and tweak it some later to see if we could use less grav jump thrust and whether or not we can save a little bit of mass and money. Alright, then around this back of this computer core, I'm going to go ahead and grab my engines. And for this ship, I have 4 SAE 5660s. These are providing the most maneuvering thrust of any Class B engine. And I just have 4 of them placed around like that. Now, one of the things that you could do if you so desired is right here, you could come over here and to the structural tab and add a porthole. Don't think I had one before, but you know what? Actually, no, I did. That's what I need to do. In order to be able to see through the porthole, I have to go ahead and come on over to the habs and add the passway, so that way it will actually go ahead and see the portal. That's what was going on there. You can see I'm still learning the finer parts of the Play Stores Yourself mod. Alright, so what's next? Well, let's go ahead and grab our landing gear. So for this ship, I'm using one NG20, and I'm just using the wide variation here. Then I am using the Acculander 11s, and I have 4 of these. And basically the rear line is just forward of the engines, and the front line is just behind the cockpit. Alrighty. Next up, it's time to go ahead and grab our cargo, fuel, and shield. So we're near fuel tanks, so let's go ahead and start there. And for this ship, I hid an Atlas HE3 tank up here along the side of the all-in-one. On the other side of that, I have the Defender 28T shield generator, because this is the best Class B shield generator you can get. And then for cargo. Alright, so here I have the Hauler 40T cargo. And with the Play Stores Yourself mod, you need to go ahead and do a little bit of tweaking with it, because as you can see, it changes how it rotates and has the variance. And then I also have 4 of the Gamma 1020s, and I have these flipped, so that way they're kind of facing downwards. Just like so. Alright. Now, from here, the next thing that we need to do is add our structural components. And we start down here, coming on down to the shroud cap A. Copy these. Copy and flip it. Okay. And then to finish off the bottom here, let's go ahead and grab that Damos belly. and that is the bottom finished. Moving on up, down the side, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Damos Spine A. Flip it. Then I'm going to grab the Damos Spine B. And then the Damos Spine C. So again, you need the better ship part flips to be able to run this line of Damos spines down the side. Otherwise, you'd be doing something like, say, the Nova Wings would be another option here. Then, on this side, I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing. Just like so. And then we're going to come over here and grab the shroud caps. Come on. There we go. So over here, I went ahead and I stuck a Damos belly on top here. However, if you wanted to, you could go ahead and use the, where is it? Shroud nose cap B instead. However, to do that, we would need to go ahead and push these back. So for that, we would want to go ahead and probably move this ladder back one and change this to a 2x1 all-in-one. Other than that, basically the exact same thing, so there's nothing too particularly special that you'd have to do if you prefer that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Shroud Cowling, the 3-long variant, and we're just going to use that to hide the shield, fuel, and cargo. Then, we are going to wrap things up by coming on over to our Hope Tank. Oh, come on. There we go. And that is all of the pieces. So all that's left now is to go ahead and add our weapons. So because I am using this on extreme difficulty, and I'm also on New Game Plus 3, I am going to go ahead and do the full particle beam loadout. And again, because I have not done the Vanguard questline in this playthrough yet, I'm just using the Vaporizer 35s, 95s, and then the PBO 175s. Because those are going to be the best particle beams that you can get at Class B. Alright. And it looks like I added one thing too many somewhere, but it's adding in this passway here. So that way we can try and get the window to function. Alright. So now we're going to go ahead and assign our weapons. And you can see we do have a 30 light year jump range, so let's go ahead and see what the lightest grav drive we could get away with is. Alright, so 27 grav jump thrust is going to only give us 24 light years jump range. But we can get away with the 30 grav jump thrust. So it could be either the Aurora 12G or the RD 2000 or the SGD 2300. So of those, looks like the Aurora 12G is the lightest, so we're going to go ahead and swap that grav drive out. Drops our jump range down to 27, which is what we're looking for as our bare minimum, but it does boost our mobility up to 30. And then let's wrap things up by putting our colors back on. Alrighty. Accept those modifications. And let's just do a quick check to see if that solved the problem of them letting us see through that rear window. There we go. Now we have use of that window that we were looking for. Alrighty. Let's run all the way back up front. And take her out for a spin. Alrighty. Let's pop on out here to Serpentis. Alright. Alright. There we go. So we engaged probably a little bit too close, hence taking all the damage that we did. And If anybody shows up. Looks like the answer to that's going to be no. Like we've got 3 targets here. All right. And with slightly low grade enemies, didn't matter too much. All right, let's see if we can find, say, one more engagement. Simple enough. All right. If you watched all the way to the end, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one.